125 pounds down, and I'm not the same person I was a year ago. It's not even just the number on the scale. My clothes fit completely differently. My energy levels are through the roof, and my daily habits have just completely changed. Today, I'm breaking down the real shifts that have happened while losing 125 pounds on a GLP-1, from how I eat and move to how I think about food and my overall health. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Chris. Welcome to the channel where we talk all things GLP-1 weight loss and lifestyle changes to live a happier and healthier life. So look, just wanted to come out with a kind of a quick update video on where I'm at and kind of a reflection of what has changed over the last year. I would say this is not my 1 year update, but just an overall update from where I am right now. Again, I started in May of 2025. It is now July of 2026. So it's been just over a year, but I wanted to reflect on this year and just talk about some of the things that have changed during the weight loss journey up to this point, and kind of looking at life now versus what it was like before. So this picture popped up on my Facebook timeline just the other day from 2022. So I know this was well before I started the weight loss journey. And this was even before I got to the 377 pounds. I was probably at this time 350-ish, maybe 360, somewhere in that ballpark, probably closer to the 350. I was proud of myself in this picture. I was leaving the gym when I was doing CrossFit. I started doing CrossFit, but I took this picture showing that I was putting in the work back in 2022 at 350-ish plus pounds, I would say. And just for some comparison, I saw that, and I don't remember where I was. I decided I was going to go ahead and take this picture and just kind of see where I'm at now, trying to have somewhat similar framing and everything on there. So I don't know if you guys can see it. I know when I look at it, I can see a big difference. And I know it's not like a full body shot. I'll have those coming. But to me, that was something significant when I saw that. And I don't like to be someone who's very prideful or boastful, but I was very proud of myself and the success I've had on this journey. So guys, don't forget, it's not just the scale. You know, I talk about that all the time. It's the non-scale victories, you know, how you look differently over time, how your clothes fit over time, measurements, take plenty of pictures on your journey. I don't take a lot of pictures. You know, I'm very guilty of not taking my own advice, to be fair. But this is one that popped up, and man, I'm so glad it did. It really helped me kind of put things in perspective, especially right now, and I see a lot of other people that are in the GLP-1 community hitting those plateaus, and I'm kind of in that mode right now of kind of getting in and out of a plateau, and I did cover that in several videos, and yeah, I'm working my way out of one myself. So this was encouraging to see. Kind of gave me a little oomph to get back going. Started reflecting on some other things, and that's kind of what brought this video forth. So I'm just going to run down a few things that I jotted down here. One is obviously, I just alluded to it a minute ago, is like the clothes, right? When I started this journey, I was at a 5X shirt. I was in a 5X. Probably should have been a 6X, but I don't know if you guys are like this. Clothes stretch, belts stretch, you know, everything stretches. So those 5Xs were pretty much stretched out to probably a good 6X. And I was even pushing the limits on those and probably needing to move forward to go up to the next size. But instead, I got on the GLP-1, got on this weight loss journey, and I am currently now wearing a 3X shirt. This is a old 3X I was able to bust out. I got several that I was able to pull out from the garage, which was another great feeling, pulling those old shirts out. Some of them had new tags on them. I never worn them. I used to work in retail prior to being in the IT world. And, you know, I had got name brand clothes in there I was able to pull out that I'd never even worn, that looked great. You know, I'm starting to get back into where you can shop off the rack instead of like going to the big and tall section. So I've even gone out and bought some new clothes I did for vacation. And it really just thrilled to be able to do that. Going from that 5X to that 3X is huge, but in my pants, and this is where I really see a huge difference in the weight loss, right? Because I still feel like I'm got the funky body shape thing going on. I carry a lot of weight in the midsection. I don't know if you guys are like that. Chest and midsection, you can't spot reduce fat. It is what it is. It's going to go where it's going to go. It's going to leave where it's going to leave from on its own volition. You can't control that. So I get that. But the pants, I think the largest pair of pants I had was a 46 waist. And I am now in a 38 waist. Literally everything that I'm wearing now is a 38 waist, even with some of them getting a little loose or cut a little loose. And I've had to buy multiple belts along the way. So normally that's not something I love doing because I'm usually going up, but this time I'm going down. And this is after poking several new holes in the belt to make it last as long as I can. You can only do that so many times, and then it gets kind of ridiculous. So I'm thrilled. I went from a 46 down to a 38. That's probably been, clothing wise, the biggest thing I can point to say, wow, this is working. So when I started going to Crunch, even probably before this journey started, I started kind of dabbling in the gym. Didn't do a ton, to be fair, didn't do a ton, but started dabbling a little bit here and there. And I did a Fit 3D, was the 360 scan they had. And so I'm going to kind of base some comparison off of that. And you guys know I did a comparison video just recently talking about the RENPHO Morphoscan and my thoughts on it. And I compared it to the eVolt 360 and my Withings scale. I have issues with, I think, numbers on all those. So I kind of picked and choose what I felt was going to be the most accurate for this comparison I'm about to give you, because some of them said I had like 20-something% body fat now. I'm pretty sure that's wrong, So I'm going to always lean on the heavier side of things or the least flattering side of things. So just for comparison, from the first scan I did back when I started Crunch to the latest scans from, again, I did them on the same day, the eVolt 360, the Withings, and the RENPHO scale. Again, kind of picking and choosing what I think is the most accurate numbers from those. Not the most flattering for sure. It would be inaccurate, but I think the most accurate numbers. Going from a 58.87% body fat, 58.87% body fat to now, I feel this is the more accurate number of 41.6% body fat. I think one scan had me at like 30 something. The other scan had me at like 29 or 28. I know that's not right. I may be 30 something% body fat, but I'll go with 41.6%. To me, that's still a huge accomplishment. Even if I am a little less than that, I'm okay with being wrong. I definitely gained muscle. I can see it. I can visually see it. Now, I don't know how much muscle people gain in a year. I am on doctor prescribed testosterone as well, just because I have low testosterone. So I'm not like steroided out testosterone or anything crazy like that. My levels are normal to mid high, maybe. I don't know, but normal now compared to where they were 2, 3, 4 years ago. So I don't have like some super advantage there, and I'm not like just packing on muscle. So I think, again, these numbers are probably conservative compared to some of the other stuff I saw. It's just ridiculous. I completely disagree with some of those numbers. But the original scan had me around 137.3 pounds of lean mass. And the scan that I think is going to be closer, again, the least flattering, had me at 167.2 pounds of lean mass, which is really, really close to 30 pounds of lean mass. Now, again, that's not exactly a year. That's probably a little bit more than a year, but I've only consistently been going to the gym for a year. So I would say that's where the bulk of it has come from. Now, slapping on 30 pounds of muscle in a year, that's probably not what happened. But between losing the fat and gaining whatever muscle I have, again, I can visually see it. And I know I'm adding the muscle. It is very apparent from the appearance and from the ability to move more weight every time I go to the gym. So these are some of the things that, like, physically, I can see a big difference in. So some daily habits and just other things that I've done that are just, I would not have done these a year ago, 2 years ago. These things wouldn't be part of my lifestyle, and these are the habits that I think made a huge difference in getting me to where I'm at now. And again, guys, I'm sharing all this to encourage you to make some of these changes or to find the changes that work for you. because I want to see everybody be successful. Again, couldn't care less about documenting my journey whatsoever at all if I didn't think it would help somebody. But I have gotten direct messages and comments thanking me for something I said in a video. And that's not me tooting my horn, but that's confirmation to me that somebody's getting something out of this. And if that's you, I do appreciate that. I just want you to know that it means the world to me. And, if I can help just one person make this journey a little easier, be more fruitful, then I'm super thrilled. And that's what I'm shooting for here. I just want to help people, on their journey. So here's some things again that I've changed. And this is fairly recently. This wasn't since the beginning of the year, but I've started adding evening walks. When I was taking my daughter to school, of course, it's summertime now. I was even starting to walk in the mornings. I would take her to school, come back, have 45 minutes to kill, and I would go on a 15 to 20 minute walk, about a mile, roughly around the neighborhood in the morning. And then in the evenings, if it wasn't a night that I was going to the gym, I'd walk about a mile or two. That's something I've recently added. Now, I'm not doing the morning walks right now. It's kind of got me out of the routine a little bit, but, I'm not calling that a loss. I'm going to get back on it. But right now I'm enjoying, staying up a little bit later at night to get some things done, sleeping in a little bit later, but that'll all be changing in just a few weeks. It'll be here before you know it. Right. But adding those evening walks are huge for multiple reasons. I'm not going to dive into all that now, but as again, just an overview of some of the things that have changed. That's been something that's really been beneficial in multiple ways for me. So walking in the evening after dinner has been huge. Going to the gym, again, is something I was doing already a little bit. And that's just recent in my life. I never went to the gym. I never worked out. I was super weak. And so within the last 2 or 3 years, I've been dabbling into the gym thing. I was talking about that picture popped up from 2022, which is 4 years ago, when I was going to CrossFit. And I did CrossFit a little here and there during that year, and that was about it. And then I got a membership at Crunch, and I started going there every so often, incredibly inconsistent. And since I started my weight loss journey this past year, I've been going at minimum, I'd say here and there, some misses for sure. I've been going a minimum of at least once a week. 2 to 3 times is about the average. And I've gone to the gym 4 times a week, a few times here and there. It just depends on what I've got going on, how I'm feeling, how the recovery's going. I don't want to push myself too hard. I do want to allow myself time to recover. But there's been times where I'm like, I feel great. I just want to go to the gym. I want to work out. I want to move some weights. And so I did. That's not something you would have convinced me a few years ago I would have been wanting to do. I've had like the itch, like I gotta get to the gym. I want to go. I'm tired. I want to go. I want to go to the gym. I've genuinely felt that way. Anybody who else has felt that way, let me know down in the comments. Maybe I'm just a crackhead. I don't know. But I thoroughly enjoy going to the gym now, and I look forward to it. And if I don't go, I do feel like my body is just craving it like water, right? I'm like nourishment. I need it. So going to the gym 2 to 3 times a week on average, that's been huge for me. I've done things like the 40-40 challenge. I posted about that. I think I shared it on my Instagram, and I know I mentioned it here before too. That was 1 mile a day for 40 days, building up to Easter, reading a scripture each day. I know not everybody that watches this is probably a Christian, but this was something I wanted to do for my faith. It was a cool little challenge. And I did that 40 miles, 40 days, consistent, a mile a day. And it wasn't very difficult at all, but it was something that you had to be accountable for and do it. And I did. I really enjoyed that. And I followed that up just this past weekend, July 4th weekend. And I posted on my Instagram, I think a cute little fun video. I did a 5K. I got up early before everybody else did and before everybody in the neighborhood did, apparently. And I walked a 5K. I did a virtual 5K up and down a busy street. And I was carrying the American flag the whole way. I thought that'd be a nice little touch. And yeah, so I who would have, no one could have convinced me that on July 4th, on a holiday, I would have gotten up early to do a 5K, not go and be with other people and get motivated by them. And I don't know anybody who was doing the virtual 5K. And you could do it at any time. I chose to do it on July 4th, on the day of, because it was a 250th anniversary 5K. So it made sense for me to do it that day. But it's just like going to the gym. I go to the gym by myself. I got no gym partners. I got no gym buddies. I know nobody at the gym unless I take my daughter with me. I'm self-motivated enough to do that because I'm self-motivated and self-driven enough to get to where I need to be. I know these are things that are going to move me in the right direction. So it's a lot easier for me to do when I know that and when I'm excited about that and staying excited about that, consistently excited about that is sometimes difficult. But watching other GLP-1 content creators out there, reading your comments, it's so encouraging just to keep going. So that's something I never thought I would do. You guys know I did the vacation video just recently, and I meal prepped. I meal prepped going into vacation. That was weird. And while on vacation, I went to the gym, which again, I never thought I'd be that guy, but we got down there on a Sunday, so I don't count that. We left Thursday morning fairly early, packed up, loaded up, left. Wanted to get home and see the dogs and everything. So we were there, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, all 3 mornings I went to the gym. I woke up before everybody else, went to the gym, got back, and still people were asleep in the family, made my breakfast, had my coffee, everything. And I loved it. Loved it. I'm so jealous that I don't have a home gym like that. And I would be just destroying myself if I didn't have to go to a gym and I had it here in my home. So, I don't know, maybe one day I can have something like that, but these are things that I have changed and implemented and done in my life over this weight loss journey that I never would have thought that I would have done. It's crazy what happens when you allow yourself to give in to the good, to the light and not the dark side, Luke. When you feel it, it's amazing. It's amazing. Some of the mindset and lifestyle changes I'd say too, or things like just being more intentional with my grocery shopping. I pull the sales ads on Wednesday when they drop, and I go through it and I see what's on sale. And I always start with my protein. Hint, hint. Always start with my protein. I create a menu for the week, plan it all out. Where am I going to go to get the deals? What kind of meat am I going to get? How much of it am I going to get? How many pounds, how many grams, ounces, whatever, Let me plan out my meals for the week, my lunches, my dinners, shared dinners that are going to be family meals. Some of them are just going to be, they're going to do their thing. Like they'll have the spaghetti while I have a meal prep or whatever, because I don't want them to be tonight either. Let me plan. Let me meal prep going into the week if I need to meal prep, which is usually the case for some meals at least. And, let me just go ahead and track, even if I'm not putting it in the tracker, let me just go ahead and know that I'm getting what I need, the protein I need, the fiber I need, the carbs, all that, the balance. I tend to lean toward the more balanced side with protein taking, the front seat for everything. So, planning all that out from the jump, being very detailed, it helps me stay focused and consistent with that. Shopping mentally in the store as I'm making the list or as I'm physically going around the store, sticking it to the outside. I mean, you guys have probably heard that a ton of times. When you go in the store and you shop on the outside, that's where all the whole foods are, from your fruits and vegetables, even your, bakery stuff, deli stuff, your meats and veg. I already said veg, your meats, your dairy, all that stuff is all mostly on the outer perimeter area, right? And then your inside aisle stuff. There's great stuff in there too. I'm not knocking it, but I mean, that's where you get your more processed, starchy, carby stuff that a lot of that stuff is just no good for you, highly addictive, full of all kinds of who knows what. So, just figuring out my travels within the grocery store to avoid where I don't need to be tempted, that's a small thing, but it's been huge for me. I'm one of those guys that's like, you got to do it. You got to go all in and you got to do it and you got to do it right. They say practice makes perfect, which is absolutely stupid. Practice doesn't make perfect because if you're practicing it the wrong way, right? Perfect practice makes perfect. You got to do it right every time. Well, here's what I have realized. no one's perfect. Nothing is perfect. And on this weight loss journey, instead of chasing perfection, chase consistency. Have the plan, have the tracking, all that stuff, right? Like I preach about all that all the time. But it's okay to slip. Get back on track. It's okay to have a birthday celebration. Go on vacation and indulge, enjoy yourself. Let loose a little bit. Don't go too crazy, of course, but, have a little fun. Who cares if you went 500 calories over your budget on this Saturday where you went out to celebrate something? Get back on track. You don't even have to cut those extra calories out the following week or prior week or whatever. If you're planning ahead, you can, sure. But it's okay. You messed up. You slipped up. It's not the end of the world. Just get back on track. It's like an 80-20 rule, Be on point 80% of the time. Enjoy yourself 20% of the time. Now, if that 20% is just so much that takes away from everything that you've done, yeah, you probably want to reevaluate that. But nobody's perfect, And again, you don't want to beat yourself up. I wanted to do that. I wanted to beat myself up if the scale didn't move, if I slipped up, if I couldn't be consistent. But now I changed that mindset to just being consistent. Even if I get off track some, I know where the tracks are and I can get back on track because I've got everything documented, everything tracked, everything planned. So if I get off, I can just get right back on. And it's okay. If I lose 1 week of momentum after having 8-9 weeks in a row of consistent weight loss, and maybe I backtrack a week or so and I get back on track, I don't beat myself over it. And I don't think you should either. It's going to happen, but it shouldn't happen all the time. But it's okay. Don't chase perfection. Just be consistent, inconsistent in doing the right things. Again, that perfect practice thing, right? Just be consistent in doing the right things. It'll make a huge, huge difference. And the last thing I guess I would add to this kind of piece of the video is starting this YouTube channel. Again, I couldn't care less about documenting my journey for my own benefit. But if it can help somebody else avoid some of the mistakes that I've made or learn from some of the things that I'm doing, great. There's plenty of other GLP-1 content creators out there. There's all kinds of fitness, weight loss, exercise, creators out there and stuff. I love to recommend to Frankenstein your monster. Pull a little bit from here, a little bit from there, put it all together. Frankenstein your monster. Figure out what works for you and do it. And, if I can contribute to that, then that's awesome. That's awesome. So that's what I wanted to do. I was encouraged by other GLP-1 content creators to start the channel because of the success that I had at that point in my journey and the information that I seem to have going on up here that, might be beneficial to share. And so I did. And it's been really neat. I've gotten an Instagram too. It's always linked down below, and I got a link tree or whatever that you guys can go to get to it. I don't post a ton there. I don't post a ton here. It's still not really my thing. I'm trying to make it my thing a little bit, I guess. But I got so much other stuff going on with the filmmaking and the family and just my own personal journey. It's a lot. And I'm not trying to be an influencer or a content creator, even though I'm creating content, I guess. But it's out there. There's stuff out there, and it's been neat to do. Sometimes it's a little pressure to put something out there if I don't want to slip a week or two without putting a video out or something, because again, I want to be consistent as much as possible. But yeah, I have enjoyed it. I have enjoyed sharing these stories, and it's been really weird being so transparent with people I don't really know, that can judge me and leave comments and hateful comments. And I haven't had very many of those, been mostly encouraging and very positive comments. So I thank you guys for that. But this is something else. This is something else. I had no idea that this would be something that I would be doing and sharing this personal part of my life with, right now, thousands of people, I guess. I've gotten thousands of views on multiple videos and getting close to 1,000 subs now, actually, which is just blowing my mind. That's where I'm at. and I'm shocked to be here. And I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful because if these videos weren't well received by you guys, I would have stopped a long time ago. So thank you guys for watching and tuning in. This has definitely been a change that I wasn't expecting to make. So all in all, what's funny is like all this stuff is stuff I knew that needed to kind of be done, or I knew I was going to need to do at some point, right? Eat less, move more. Here's ways to do that. Focus on the protein, plan your meals better, prep, go to the gym, work out. And it's stuff that I have done before. It's just, I couldn't be consistent with it. The GLP-1s have been a tool to allow me to do the things that I knew I needed to do. It does not make you lose weight. I got to stress that again. GLP-1s do not cause you to lose weight directly. They will indirectly allow you to lose weight if you do the necessary work. If you put in the changes that you need to put in, which is eat less, move more. I've been so motivated by that because now I don't have the food noise or the constant hunger. I have less of an appetite. And so I don't think about food and everything as much as I used to. So now I can think about other things, including going to the gym, creating a workout routine, researching workout routines. What's going to be best for this? How can I build my arms? I want to build these things. What are they called? Traps? Cool. Let's figure out how to do that. So now I'm able to do those things consistently because of the GLP-1. Now, again, if you guys have been watching, I started on Zepbound through my doctor. I found a really good doctor, put me on Zepbound. I was getting it through him, through my insurance. That changed. And at the time the time was perfect. Again, I spoke about my faith earlier. I'm never going to preach, but timing being perfect is I always got to give somebody the glory on that one. I can't help it. I just think that the timing was just too perfect. IVRX stepped in and reached out right at that pinnacle moment and says, "Hey, we'd love to talk to you about a partnership." And I've been partnered with them for a little while now, and I gotta tell you, I love it. I've been consistent with my weight loss with them. They've been nothing but a pleasure to work with. I just made the announcement last week, I think it was, both on Instagram and on here, that they just lowered their prices, which again, when I thought about GLP-1s and all this stuff, it was way too expensive to get on, way too expensive. If I didn't have insurance, I couldn't have done it. And now seeing all these different compounding pharmacies offer them at lower prices is really encouraging. And then a company that I'm working with still cranking out a fantastic compounded semaglutide, tirzepatide medications. They got other peptides and stuff too. I'm testing out their Sermorelin. I've mentioned that a few times. I will be having a video kind of talking about it. And seeing them who honestly did not need to lower their prices because they were already really, really competitive. And again, such a pleasure to work with and a great product, but they lowered their prices anyway. So I'm just flabbergasted, and it just makes me respect them so much more. So guys, I'm not a salesperson for them. I do get a little affiliate kind of kickback if anybody uses my discount code or link or a comment. I don't know how it works. Sorry. Again, I'm terrible at sales, but I do have the link down below. Discount code is SCALE50. You can save $50 to $100 off your very first order, which again is already reduced in pricing. So you get a really good deal that first month for sure. But then you're locked in after that to their new pricing. But again, I'm not a salesperson for them. I'm not trying to push GLP-1s on anybody. If a GLP-1 isn't right for you, by all means, don't get on one. It's ridiculous to take medication if you don't have to, in my humble yet accurate opinion. I like to take less medication than more. But GLP-1s have changed my life. And again, I'm grateful to, Zepbound and my doctor for getting that ball rolling. But IVRX stepped in and filled a gap for me. And so again, I got to give them props. And, if they're not right for you, that's cool too. That's cool too. Do what you got to do. If a GLP-1's right for you, I do recommend that you research them, find somebody that you want to work with, and get going. you're going to be sitting somewhere 1 year from now. Let me leave you with this thought. You're going to be sitting somewhere a year from now. Unless good Lord comes prior to that, you're going to be sitting somewhere 1 year from now. Now, you can be in the same place you are now, or you can be lighter, you can be heavier, you can be happier, you can be more frustrated, whatever. But don't wait till the beginning of the new year to make that decision to get started. There's no need to. Go ahead and start today. Whatever you're going to do, go ahead and start today. And when that year from now gets here, which will, again, be here before you know it, you'll be able to look back and go like, man, I'm so glad I didn't wait. I'm so glad I got started. Again, you're going to be in some position a year from now. Go ahead and make the choice to get started now. Guys, that's pretty much it. As always, I wish you nothing but the best. Go out there and conquer the scale and never let the scale conquer you. We'll see you on the next one.